Well, with a cast like that, what could possibly go wrong?
It's been a really good week for movies for us. We've just seen Logan and now Kong. So we're busy filming these reviews back to back, and our opinions are very drastically different though between the two.
And we wear the same clothes 4 days in a row. Kong has been helmed by the indie director John Voight Roberts, and the film stars Tom Hiddleston, Brie Larson, Samuel L. Jackson, and John C. Reilly.
Rather than a retelling of the Kong story that we already know, this is more of a new story for Kong. It's set in a different time period in the 1970s. The technology is better, the motivations for going to the island are different to the previous stories that we know. And this film is also part of this MonsterVerse that they're setting up that falls part of the same universe as the 2014 Godzilla film was. And now, having seen what they've decided to do with this King Kong franchise, the results are really varied, to say the least.
We can see this film sort of becoming quite divisive in the film industry because we've seen a lot of mixed opinions, and we view it on the lower end of the spectrum.
It looked great, like the new visual style and tone that they're taking. It's looking unique, but
every time I saw a trailer in the cinema for this film, I got giddy, and we'll go into some positives. There are positives. Like you said, there's a unique visual style. It's a lot different to Peter Jackson's 2005 rendition of it. It's bright, it's colorful, it's got this like misleading happy tone about it. We found that the design of Kong himself, they went in a total different direction compared to a realistic sort of gorilla.
It's sort of a homage to his old design from the old King Kong films, and his scale is much larger in this one. Obviously, he's got to go up against Godzilla eventually.
The creature designs, the feel of the island, I think, was quite well realized. There was some real creativity there, even though it could have been explored a little bit further. The sound design was good. I mean, when King Kong would roar, you'd feel it in your chest. It was this big bassy boom. It was epic. Yeah, it was great. And then John C. Reilly was the standout performance in this movie, and to be honest, the only character you end up caring about.
Yeah, I think as far as character development goes in this film, there really isn't. Sadly. A lot of people might argue that character development and the human characters of a story like this aren't as important, and you just want to see the action and the showdown between the creatures. But really, the film has to have some sort of emotional grounding and some sort of characters to latch onto. And with these people, all of them were just shells and basically like walking quirks. There was nothing unique about any of the characters. The relationships between the characters were really shallow, really underdeveloped, and the dialogue was, some of it felt like template dialogue. Like it just really felt clunky and very jolted in the way that they flowed.
Yeah, there's a particular scene between Tom Hiddleston, Brie Larson, and John C. Reilly when they meet up for the first time, and John C. Reilly sort of explains how things work here. And they're like, it's so awkward. It's so, it fell apart.
Yeah.
And it was supposed to be like super humorous, and you just like sort of turn and look at other people in the cinema, and everybody's like, what?
Yeah, a lot of the jokes do fall flat. And that leads us to the tone of the film, which is also very unstable. It's just constantly changing. Like it simultaneously takes itself very seriously, and wants to be a comedic, somewhat light-hearted action film. And the tone was very jarring at times. Another big issue for me was the editing style. It was very quick-paced, and the cuts were very rapid at times, and they tried to go for this they were going for like a quirky sort of editing style. But some of the there's a particular scene with the helicopters when they're approaching the island. Once you've seen the film, you'll know what I'm referring to. But where they focus on a bobblehead figure that's on the dashboard of the helicopter, and it literally made me angry. Just it was obnoxious. It just came across that way to me. I don't know.
Just to come back to the characters again, there were a lot of characters that just ended up being cannon fodder. You could feel that
Yeah.
the film wanted to get you to care about every single one of them, and they had like a little bit of a backstory or whatever, and they wanted emotion from you, and then that's it.
There you go. You're done.
And their motivations, the character motivations. I mean,
Just illogical decisions, left, right, and center, to the point where it actually becomes ridiculous. There's certain decisions that are made in the film that no logical human would make, and it just makes you think, like, it separates you emotionally from the film. Then you just start viewing it as like another action film. You know, like there's no real stakes or anything in terms of what's going to happen to the characters.
and this film didn't need Brie Larson and Tom Hiddleston or John Goodman. You've got these monstrous actors. They're huge names. They're not picked off from the sidewalk. You know, and they're wasted. They are absolutely wasted. Tom Hiddleston, they tried to, I don't know, Bruce Willis him or something, and he was, I don't know, he fell flat. Brie Larson took pictures.
That's about it. That's her character.
And
she
smiles,
takes pictures.
and has a strap going across her boobs so that you go, oh yeah, tats. But that's her character. That's as deep as her character goes. And John Goodman,
Man.
I mean, I have a particular soft spot for this man. He's been a part of my life since the Roseanne TV series. And
Oh, man. I forgot about that.
and his character was meh. And then the visual effects of Kong himself. Everything else around him, the monsters that he fights, the environment that he's in is so well rendered, but Kong himself, he had this like, it was almost like an oily film. He was hazy. You couldn't see the greater detail. And then also there's a scene where they like zoom in on him, where some characters have a bit of a moment with him, and it looked horrific. It looked like they were in a room and they filmed this. It didn't look realistic at all.
At the end of the day, this film was a massive disappointment for us, and we're not trying to hate on this film. Like, we were pretty pumped going into this.
We went in this wanting to love it, really.
But yeah, I mean, overall it was massively forgettable, and sadly something that I don't think is going to hold up very well.
Go watch Godzilla instead. That was a far superior film as far as we're concerned. Don't read other reviews; they'll tell you otherwise. Go see it to yourself.
So sadly, as much as we wanted to love this film, we're going to have to give it a 6 out of 10. And I'm not too sure I want to watch it again.
I'll probably end up buying it just so that I have it part of the MonsterVerse collection, but that's it. I don't know if I will watch it again. It'll sit on my shelf and gather dust. But they'll get my money.
It makes this the Shawshank Redemption of monster films in comparison. I love this movie.
Let's watch it right now. Make sweet, sweet love.